Mattiuzzo back with you again for story time. Now, you might be meeting me at home or you might be meeting me back at Mayfair Bible Church. Either way, I hope that you are thriving in Jesus. Last time that we met, we actually talked about God's love being a gift, and we are working on memorizing a Bible verse about this. And it is, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast." Can you think of ways that all of us are similar? There was a way actually in our Bible verse, and it is the only way that we can be saved is through faith. Another way that we are all alike, we all sin, which means that we run away from God. We're going to be meeting someone in our story today who learns this very lesson. Our story today comes from Luke chapter 19, and it's the story of Zaccheus, and it's called "The Man Who Didn't Have Any Friends, None." There was once a man who didn't have any friends, none. Do you have friends? Well, of course you do, but not Zaccheus. Poor Zaccheus didn't have any. You're probably wondering why. Was it because he was so short? That's not a reason to not like someone. Was it because he had a name that was hard to say? Well, neither is that. Even though he was short and he did have a funny name, that wasn't it. No, people didn't like Zaccheus because he stole their money. Zaccheus collected taxes, and taxes were what people had to pay the king. But Zaccheus took more than he was supposed to and kept the extra money for himself and made himself rich. Everyone knew what he was up to, and it made them cross and grumpy. They didn't like Zaccheus one bit. So they made sure he knew it by doing things like avoiding him and walking on the opposite side of the street and pretending not to see him and whispering things like, "There's that nobody who thinks he's a somebody," loud enough so he could hear. Anyway, one day a huge crowd gathered by the road. Jesus was coming to their town and everyone wanted to see him. Zaccheus wanted to see Jesus too, but everyone was too tall. He tried jumping up and down, but that didn't work. He couldn't see a thing. Luckily, Zaccheus had a good idea. "I'll climb that sycamore tree," he said. So he did. He was surprisingly good at climbing trees for a man who was so unusually short that he had to take a flying leap just to get into his chair in the morning. From the tree, Zaccheus had the perfect view all the way down the road. Another minute, and suddenly Jesus was at the tree. He stopped and looked up. Zaccheus saw Jesus. "Zaccheus," Jesus said, "I'd like to come over to your house." Zaccheus almost fell out of the tree. Come over to his house? No one ever wanted to come anywhere near his house, let alone inside it. The people saw this, and needless to say, it made them even crosser and grumpier than usual. They mumbled and murmured and muttered, "Why is Jesus being kind to that big sinner? Doesn't Jesus know about him?" Zaccheus scrambled down and took Jesus to his house. He was in a big hurry because he didn't want Jesus to change his mind. Perhaps Jesus hadn't heard about him. Perhaps Jesus didn't know about how he had been stealing and how no one liked him and how he didn't have any friends. But Jesus knew. He knew all about Zaccheus and the stealing and everything, and he still loved him. Zaccheus was ashamed. "Lord," he said, turning pale, "what I've done is wrong, but now I want to do the right thing. I will give the money back to everyone, 4 times what I stole." And that is just what he did. Jesus smiled. "My friend," he said, "today God has rescued you." Jesus loved Zaccheus when nobody else did. He was Zaccheus' friend, even when no one else was, because Jesus was showing people what God's love was like, his wonderful, never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love. And did you hear that, friends? Jesus loved Zaccheus first. Jesus wanted to be near Zaccheus even before Zaccheus wanted to admit that he sinned. Jesus loved him. Jesus loves us first, you and I both. So what did you discover today about Jesus from our story? Jesus' love, his wonderful, never stopping, never giving up, unbreaking, always and forever love, is a gift. And like all gifts, it's free. Jesus knows all about us, all about our sin, but he loves us anyway. And because we know this, we will want to stop sinning, just like Zaccheus. Well, friends, I'm so glad that you joined me today, and I hope that you are thriving in Jesus. Have a great day. Bye.